Hello, this is Ariella Carmel, and I'm at Calcalist and KPMG's Work After Work event in Tel Aviv. I'm joined by Inbar Haham, a managing partner at INcapital Ventures. Thank you for joining me, Inbar.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So, can you start off by telling me a little bit about INcapital Ventures and your role there?
Sure. InCapital is an early growth fund. We invest in B2B companies in different sectors. We focus on Israeli related companies. We also invest in North American companies occasionally. We are a global fund in nature. We have offices in Toronto, in Tel Aviv. We have 12 portfolio companies. It's been a very active year for us at InCapital.
So, would you say that the collaboration between the Israeli and Canadian tech sector is particularly active right now? What draws you to the Canadian market?
So for us, Canada is a great landing pad for portfolio companies. Most of our back office is Canadian. We like to hire Canadians. We think there is great talent there. It's a less competitive market than the US market. Canadians are also early adopters. So our portfolio companies look at it as a large market that they can easily get access to. We have a great network there, so we leverage our network in order to help them hire talent, raise capital, strategic partnerships, anything that can help them scale in the North American market.
As a Canadian, I love to hear it. Can you tell me a little bit more about the particular sectors or fields within tech that you're focused on as a company?
Sure. We are a generalist fund, which means that we invest in different sectors. We only invest in B2B companies, but we are sector agnostic. We have cybersecurity companies. We have companies in infrastructure. We have deep tech companies and companies that are more focused on operations. But essentially, what we're looking is to invest in talent, entrepreneurs that understand the area that they operate in, that have worked before as a team or have an exceptional synergy as a team and can really scale the company. And there are so many challenges scaling a company, so can really go through that roller coaster of scaling an early stage startup.
What are your thoughts right now on the moment that generative AI and AI companies are having? Is that an area that you're looking at much these days?
So generative AI has a tremendous influence on the tech industry. So we're continuously monitoring, trying to understand how generative AI influences our portfolio companies. So for example, companies can better use their resources in order to grow. So they need less talent and they can leverage AI to do specific tasks that were previously done by people. So that's great. And also the fact that technologies can now be improved using generative AI and get to better performance, faster results. So we look at it as a positive thing for portfolio companies, and we're trying to understand as investors how this space evolves. And we think of it as a change for the entire tech. It's very similar to how the internet influenced the economy back in the 80s and 90s. So it's definitely a great time for us as investors to have capital available to invest in these trends.
Gotcha. Now, shifting gears a bit, you interviewed with us in January and had a lot to say about the economic situation and how it's impacting the tech sector. I'm curious about what your thoughts are on how that situation has developed in the 7 months or so, 6 months since. Are there any major changes that you've noticed in terms of the economic situation? Are we going in the right direction or the wrong way?
So we haven't seen a major change in the last 6, 7 months. What we have seen is that the U.S. market is starting to become more active, and we see more deals happening and more interest in tech and in early stage companies. And I think this will also happen in Israel. We are a bit behind the US, so I think we'll see it in Israel. So we see more deals, and it feels like it's a new normal because in the beginning, when the interest rate have started to gone up and capital became less available, we saw a freeze in the market. So it's not a situation anymore, and good companies are able to raise capital. There is capital available. I think the capital is more selective these days. Definitely less deals than 2020 and 2021, but we still see good companies raising capital.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today, but thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, and you enjoy the event.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for having me.